Hello, guys. So, I want to say how teachers do really upset their students, and you can tell by how a classroom is being handled. One, I can tell a teacher yelling at her students a lot in a mean, angry voice, or talking to their students in a low, this is my teacher voice. You need to sit down. Why are you talking? You know, when they talk to them constantly in that voice and they never switch over to, this is my happy voice. That's one way to tell, but I think that, um, yeah, talking mean, yelling at students a lot is a sure way to notice that the classroom is going to be out of order. If the students are fighting each other, and if the students are hitting the teacher, then you know that's a bad teacher, because it's like, what are you doing to make the child hit you? And I had a student on Friday, which was the 18th, I believe, of August, and I learned that he peed all over the teacher's bathroom. So the classroom has a class bathroom, and this student decided to pee all over it, right? All over the floor, everything, and mess it up. And the teacher made him clean it up, but it's like, what did you do as a teacher that caused his behavior? Because there's lots of students who, like, if this boy was around me as a teacher, he would never do that. And it's not because I yell at him and I take away rewards from him, like his iPad and candy, and I make him sit by himself at lunch, and I make him sit by himself in class. I don't believe punishing kids like that is going to help them, because if they're not focusing, you should see, well, why are they not focusing? Like, make learning fun. Okay, maybe they are in first grade, but they really struggled in kindergarten, and now they're passed through, but they still need extra attention and extra help. Like, modify your class, use differentiation strategies, give the students accommodations. And in another class, these two boys, there's two problem boys, and I'll say, okay, so in Miss Gina's class, first grade, it's Carter, and then in Miss Karate's class, it'll be Michael, Macaulay. I'll just call him Macaulay. And so one is autistic, the other, Carter, has just behavioral problems. He has no known disability. And so they both, the teachers, Miss Gina and Miss Karoldi, was like, you can't have your iPad. So they put it on top of a high shelf. And both of the boys were like, okay, I'm going to climb up the shelf and I'm going to get my iPad because you are not doing something that I agree with. And really, I just feel like, yeah, the children understand that you say, you can't have an iPad, but the kids don't understand, like, why are you saying this, and why do I deserve it, and why should I listen to you? And I feel like, again, when children, like their parents, they'll listen to their parents, I feel like, because they can tell that their parents love them. But if they don't see their parents and they don't feel like the parents love them, kids will not respect them. And a lot of times that's why school and everything, it comes with building a good relationship. And when these students see that you don't like them and you're yelling at them a lot and you haven't done anything that shows that you care, like, they're not going to respect you. And they're not going to want to sit down in your class and learn anything. That is a big part of being a teacher. And then also the classroom environment. If the other students in the class don't see that, hey, we are in a class, we are together all the time, we are a team, then the class is not going to be in a good structure. And then one teacher is a kindergarten teacher. I'm calling her Karen Rex. And Karen Rex has whole brain rules. We are required to have whole brain teaching rules. And in her kindergarten class, I was looking at her rules and I'm like, you put the 5th rule, right, is make my dear teacher happy. And that is not a rule. The rule is make my dear team happy, because the classroom is a team, and she switched it and it says teacher. And I'm just like, that's the wrong rule, right? That should not be on your wall. And then another teacher, Miss Coraldi, I was looking at her rule list, because each class has to have the same 5 rules, even though it's kindergarten, even though it's 1st grade. And I looked at her rule number 5, and it wasn't even there. And I saw, keep your hands, stay in your seat unless you ask for it. Don't talk unless you raise your hand. I see that rule. And then when it comes to the most important one, which is make your team happy, which means this is a classroom, everyone else is with you as a team, they ignore it. And then I went to the Whole Brain Teaching website, and I was like, okay, how do these rules get applied with a problematic student? And they said when a student is having like an anger outburst, one thing to do is, of course, calm the child down, but also bring the class together. Let's say the child can't do his work, bring the class together to say, you can do it, you're doing your best, we believe in you, you're a great kid, like you say positive things, and I can't be the only one saying it. You also bring other members of your class to encourage you to continue on. And that's how you really work as a team, especially when someone is struggling. And that's what I don't see happen, because I was really upset this Friday because I didn't know it was a spelling test day in Miss Coraldi's class. But another student never passed spelling. Like we would tell her, well, I wouldn't, but the teacher, Coraldi, would say, get out your spelling words, start writing them down. And I know this kid would write the words backwards, and then I would try to sit with her and help her. But then it's like I have to walk across the room and focus on other students too. And yes, I knew she did not know the spelling words, but I also thought it wasn't this Friday. I did not know they were literally going to have a spelling test. And also, it is up to the student to study them at home. But still, she did not know how to write the words properly. So I would sit with her and I'd write it properly in a highlighter, and I'd tell her, hey, you wrote it, but these are backwards. You need to write it 2 times. And it just seemed like, how kids are. They just get frozen with directions. And she's definitely someone to look out for. But I also don't like spending too much time with her, because I feel like when the teacher knows I have a positive relationship with a student, that's when she's like, you're not allowed to help this student anymore. You're giving them too much attention. And that's why I don't like it when students enjoy having me around, because I'm just like, your teacher, you're going to get in trouble talking to me because you have to listen to your teacher. So as I was saying with Miss student, she ended up cheating on her test. And the teacher made her sit and rewrite her spelling words by herself, and she just started crying because she don't know how to write them properly. And I assume that's why she was crying. She also was crying because she had to sit at a desk by herself. She was also could be crying because the teacher wasn't talking to her nicely, and she doesn't like someone just staring at her, staring her down. She really felt under a lot of pressure, and she didn't know what to do. And I did not like seeing that happen this Friday in Miss Coraldi's class.